Let's talk about swim ponds.
Pond Country gets questions all the time about what is a swim pond or what makes a swim pond different than a standard water feature that we build every day. So I'm going to talk to you about that today. A lot of people probably think it's about size, but size has nothing to do with it. Size is a personal preference. You could literally pick any water feature that we have on our showroom and we can create the two things that are required to make it a swim pond. Now, whether you can swim in it or not is a different question, but at least it meets the requirements to be considered a swim pond. So those two things are enhanced filtration and external pumps. The enhanced filtration is to handle those people that don't use the bathroom exactly where they're supposed to. If you have some kids or a guy that's sitting in there for 2 hours and hasn't gone to the bathroom, you know he probably did go to the bathroom, but he didn't get out of the pond. Because of that, we need the ability to have enhanced filtration. And that enhanced filtration looks like this. This entire area is a wetlands filtration system. It's approximately 15 or 20 by 20, and that's appropriately sized for this size pond. On a standard pond where people are not getting in, this is your wetlands filtration. We call this a biofalls, and it's the beginning of your waterfall. But it actually is a miniature wetlands. Water flows in from the bottom and it flows up through multiple levels of different density material. And that material is where bacteria, good bacteria, like a probiotic that we would take for our own bodies, is able to grow. As the ammonia from either human waste or fish waste is circulated by the pumps into your wetlands filtration and it upwells, that bacteria converts the ammonia into something that the pond can use, which is basically a fertilizer. So this is the size of a wetlands filtration, again a biofalls, on a standard size pond, and that's the size on a swim pond. The second thing is external pumps, because it's not safe to swim with electricity. So what we do on our standard ponds is we have a submersible pump. They're energy efficient, they're great, but they're not meant for human immersion. So because they're not meant for human immersion, when we have a pond that is intended to get into, then we need to take that pump and take it outside the water feature. So we move from a submersible pump to an external pump, and that makes it safe for people and pets. So when we're talking about external pumps, you're going to get a behind the scenes view of what an external pump looks like. Very similar to a swimming pool pump, but these pumps are energy efficient. They're about 12,000 gallons per hour each. And we size these pumps based on the turnover rate for the water feature that you've selected. But these are the pumps that are required instead of the pumps that are submerged in the water in your skimmer on a regular water feature. So these pumps also have all the piping above ground is heavier PVC so that it's not flexible. But once it goes into the ground, it converts over to a flexible PVC like we install on all of our other water features to protect them from freezing and other things that goes on in the ground. So this is the behind the scenes look at the difference between the submersible pumps that we would use in a standard water feature and the external pumps that we would use on any swim pond. So when we're talking about a wetlands filtration system, we're talking about obviously something that's huge. This is 4 feet deep, roughly 20 by 20, but it has all different parts as well. Let's take a look right here at these parts, because until you actually can see the difference on these, it's really hard to comprehend why it costs the amount of money that it costs just to upgrade. So in a wetlands filtration, the water comes into the bottom, just like your biofalls. The water upwells through multiple media material that actually clean that water. So the water here is pumped in to the end of our centipede. This centipede is actually half of one centipede. So a full centipede would be another section over here, And then you can tell that there are 4 areas that you could have a centipede hooked to this snorkel. The water pumps into your centipede based on the size of the water feature that you've selected, so it's a modular system. This is designed for 2 things. One, it reduces the turbidity of the water, slowing everything down. As it comes up out of the centipede, it goes into an aqua block. Again, it's a box like this that is weight bearing. You could drive a car over this. And it sits on top of the centipede. Again, slowing the water down and allowing that water to settle out over a very large area like we saw behind us. That water flows up, it's upwelling very, very slowly and evenly across the entire wetland area, and then it begins to go into your multiple layers of media. Just like we saw on our biofalls with a low, medium, and high density filter, this is going through different levels of other material that will filter that water and polish it as it comes up. In this entire wetlands, what we saw over there, I actually wanted to point out to you here. The top of that is sitting right here at the top of this. So the height of that is actually all the way down into the ground with all of this multiple material layer and another foot of water on top of it. The other thing that makes the aquascape system so unique is that it is a backwashable, cleanable system. There are a lot of people that are building a wetlands, and I'm looking at them online and I'm like, that's great and it's going to work perfectly for a short period of time. But day one, it's going to start clogging up and they have absolutely no way or ability to clean that. With the aquascape system, because of the snorkel area, we're able to remove this, drop a pump in, empty the wetlands with water going down. That water hits the centipede and it's coming back towards the snorkel because everything is directed back to the snorkel. And then all of that pond scum and gunk that's built up over the years that is contained in that wetlands that you can't see is being backwashed to this area. Then we then pump it out and discharge it. That's why when you spend the money on a wetlands filtration, you want to make sure that it's an Aquascapes wetlands filtration system because it is washable, cleanable, and will survive the entire time that you own your water feature, and you're not having to go back in and rebuild your wetlands every few years because it has gotten gunked up and you don't have the ability to clean it.